First, you climbed on. Then, they strapped you in very securely. And then, they started you off. I still remember the strange feeling.
We found these old scenes of Moscow gathering dust in an archive. It was as if the Russian cameraman 40 years ago somehow foresaw the need for such images today. These images from the past seem to capture the feel of the changes in the late 20th century.
This is a time when the future seems a door you can walk right through. A door you can walk right through. Into a room called tomorrow. Great nations of the world are moving toward free markets. Communism died this year. America won the Cold War.
I don't think I'm so lucky.
You don't? Well, let me show you.
It's mine. It's my money. You can't do anything about it. You can't put me in jail because I already served 4 years.
Hey, I'm 53 years old. I made $8. And I was darn lucky to make that.
Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to make money. And so I think it just cuts through all the other problems and gets right down to it.
Mark Hughes, founder of the American Herbalife Company, has come to London to recruit salespeople. His $200 million a year company relies on network marketing, or pyramid sales, to promote diet pills and powders. Herbalife is now implanted in 9 countries. In Britain, some 20,000 have become salesmen. Every user is urged to push the product.
Then we've just in this last couple of years decided that we were going to take Europe by storm, and we were going to get in on this incredible opportunity of everything in Europe opening up. We're going to take Herbalife country by country, language by language, and we're going to take this company around the entire world.
I'm really so grateful to Herbalife. People noticed my results, so I started to talk to them about Herbalife.
Helping people get healthy, helping people get wealthy. Part-time, the last 90 days, I've made over £10,000.
Her headaches and migraines have cleared up, and better than that.
And, in the last 90 days, I've made over £40,000.
I'm getting better and better and better. I feel wonderful. Everybody needs it.
No matter how bad your condition, I have news that will tickle your ears. I was dead.
Dead? Well, pretty sick.
Till I saw a famous physician who hadn't seen a patient in years. Since that day I haven't been sick, sir. That medicine did the trick, sir. And what was it? Don't ask me. I'll tell you. Jacobs, go hold a hand. Listen.
This is a Herbalife distributor kit, and it's a business in a box. It's absolutely knockout, ladies and gentlemen. It's something that can really revolutionize your life. Now, a lot of you out there, you don't believe that, do you? No. No, I can see it in some of your faces. But it can, and it does. And it's done it for tens of thousands of people.
Friend, are you aware that you're losing your hair? Do you need money? Have you been on a diet?
After you're on the product and you get some people on the product, you're going to say to yourself, hey, this is a lot more than just making money. This Herbalife movement is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in business history. My goal is to have every single newspaper in the country in the next couple of years, every single television station in the country, in all of Europe saying, thanking the Herbalife distributors because we were the ones that changed Europe's health.
Most people want to become a millionaire, you know, so it's a nice title for the school. I don't think I ever called it a millionaire school till I became a millionaire, though.
You are a millionaire?
Yeah.
Multi?
Yeah. people like what's going on in America. It is an American company. It's an American rag to riches story. It's an American product. It has to do with slimming. Slimming is always identified with these beautiful movie stars. We're a cash business. We don't trust anybody. Give us the money, then we trust you.
In this life, it's dog eat dog. Right. Bite and scratch. That's right. Grab everything for yourself and hold on like a leech. But you can't even pick a pocket.
And her husband, yes, I can so too do it.
So you came from communist Poland to London and are trying to make your fortune from selling Herbalife?
Yes, it was 1 year ago, it was like that, but I failed as a distributor. So now I came especially to see Mark.
Do you think that in Poland people would embrace this product?
Well, it is a question of money. It is for Poland. It's if we say 48 pounds, it's a lot of money in Poland. It is over millions zlotys. It is, let's say, half a month of work to earn this money.
What would a member of the former Polish Communist Party say about this type of business activity?
Well, they probably would say that it's a witchcraft.
Just came to Czechoslovakia, I don't know, maybe from the USA straight away.
What would the old Communist Party activists in Czechoslovakia have said about this sort of business activity?
Oh, before, they would go to prison. We will have to go to prison, of course.
Baby's gonna have a big diamond ring, and a shiny limousine, and a penthouse.
And Johnny?
He goes with the penthouse.
These fantasies can come true by marrying a millionaire. She says it's easy, and she should know because she is a pro. This is Ginny Polo Sales. Now, there are people who would call her a gold digger, but Ginny says there is nothing like loving a man with money.
By the way, that's one of the keys, too, to getting them to marry you. The more money you get them to put into you, the more value you will have in their eyes.
I mean,
money is a
happened?
language. Advertisers know that money is a language and that people spend money emotionally.
First guest says romance without finance is ignorance. And she says it's like marrying Santa Claus and getting into his toy bag all year round.
Santa cutie, there's one thing I really do need, the deed to a platinum mine, Santa cutie, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
The first thing I did, I told her that I would give her $500 an hour just to talk to her.
C'est bon. Je cherche un millionnaire avec des grands Cadillac cars, mink coats, des bijoux, jusqu'au cou, tu sais. C'est bon.
I cannot help loving anybody who is kind and generous with me. I can't help it. It just turns my little love button on and I love that person.
Number 5, study the obituaries and call the surviving spouses. Well, I mean, hey, it's up to you.
Let me tell you, the rich are very mercenary. They are the most mercenary. Why do you think that they spend money to join the most expensive clubs? To buy the friends that cost the most to have. Why do they live in the neighborhoods? They could build the same beautiful mansion in a dumpy part of town and have cheaper property taxes. But it's to buy the neighbors that cost the most to have. The rich themselves are very mercenary.
Diamonds USA begins its 6th annual presentation, dedicated to the fetching idea that diamonds are not a girl's best friend, but rather a man's symbol of success, and his tribute to the wife who helped him along the way. This ensemble is adorned by nearly $1 million worth of success symbols. From head to toe, a really resplendent regalia.
My dear, that diamond exists. I'd sell my soul for it. It's worth a great deal more than that, my dear.
Want a big fat pile of money? Now give me that almighty dollar. For that lettuce, let me holler. Give me buckets full of ducats, just let me walk around and waller. In Mazuma, El Dinero, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, just give me money, 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 money. I want that green ammunition, That's the stuff for which I'm wishing. Fill my closets with deposits. I'm a demon at addition. Give me shekels, give me pesos, let me see their smiling faces. Give me money, 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 money. I love the sound of that machine.
The wealthiest woman in Britain, possibly the wealthiest woman in the world, the Queen has come to dedicate new premises for London's Futures and Options Exchange. Speculating on and profiting from economic turmoil internationally, this market has grown by leaps and bounds throughout the recession.
Over the past decade, the combined volume of transactions has grown dramatically. And today, we boast a daily turnover of around £50 billion. We originally went over to Chicago to view the Chicago Board of Trade. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, I turned around to one of my colleagues and said, there's no way that this type of market will function in London. After about half an hour, I wanted to get my jacket off, get in the pit, and start trading. And it was that feeling of initiative and enterprise that has done so much to be a success in London. So yes, we did copy Chicago, and I'm proud that we did.
The minute you start thinking, oh my God, I've had a terrible day, I've lost X thousand pounds, I could have bought a nice car for that or something like that, I shouldn't be doing this, then it's fatal. I haven't got time to do that in Chicago. They have a fight every day in Chicago in the pits.
Physical fight?
Physical fight. I can tell you one bloody funny story. Don't put this thing on, don't. But there was one chap in the back month there, and how did it work? He had a fight with somebody who got him around the neck. Some little local we'd never seen before turned up, and they had a fight. Got him around the neck. The guy went out, unconscious, okay? That's right, there's a big trader from CRT. This new local strangles him. He's down, out for the count, this trader from CRT. He's not a big guy, but he's a big trader. Institutional, you see. And then he starts going blue. He's swallowed his tongue, right? So his arch enemy, trading-wise, gets down and starts fishing his tongue out. He comes to, sees his arch enemy, put his fingers down his throat, starts laying him.
Wall Street Shuffle. Hear the money rustle. Watch the greenbacks tumble.
In 1986, I came down from Scotland to work for NatWest Bank in their stockbroking arm. In a matter of months, I went from earning £18,000 a year to earning something in the region of £200,000 a year. At my absolute best, I had the fantastic feeling of making £30,000 in only 7 minutes. 12 months later, the stock market crashed. My boss came into the room, gave me a bag like this and said, take all your belongings and get out. 2 weeks later, I was given a bill for £3 million.
Gotta be cool on Wall Street when your index is low. Dow Jones ain't got time for the bombs. They'll wind up on Skid Row with holes in their pockets. They bleed with you, buddy. Can you spare a dime? But you ain't got the time.
I could not believe what they'd done to me. I just couldn't believe it. And I think, because I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, really. In the end, I was lucky. Because I'd lost so much, maybe, I only ended up paying £10,000. I no longer work here in the City of London, but I now work up in Scotland, where I've got some shops which sell these rather rare trees which come in from China and Japan and Taiwan, bonsai trees.
Do you like that better than dealing with numbers and millions of pounds sterling?
Well, there's something therapeutic about dealing with trees.
People go to all ends and do all sorts of silly things in pursuit of money. We've got millions and millions of pounds going around. There's obviously abuses going on all over. But it's only once in a while that people are caught or punished for it.
I feel bitter towards certain members of the staff at that time, but unfortunately for them, they've all lost their jobs since, and some of them have gone on trial. So they got what they deserved.
In a way, I'm glad to be out of that kind of a world.
Did your money make you better? Are you waiting for the hour when you can screw me? 'Cause you're big enough. Do the Wall Street Shuffle. Let your money.
Your Majesty,
May I offer you a trading badge? It conveys the right to trade.
What I'd like to know is, where do you get your money from? What work do you do? Get everybody worked up. They give everybody stuff they shouldn't have.
I like champagne. And everything that goes with it. Big houses with big porches. Big rooms with big windows. And big trees. I'd walk out of the house and I'd look at the trees. And smell the flowers. And I'd run across the lawn and lie down under a tree and read a book. A book of poems, maybe.
Swimming pools and tennis courts are commonplace in this suburb of Washington, D.C. Potomac, Maryland, the town of the instant mansions.
This is a wonderful house, but we'd probably both love to have an old English country home.
We would love to. And I think when Americans do go to England, for instance, they jump at the chance to see some of these beautiful old mansions, you know, that we see on our televisions and we read about in our magazines.
We actually had the Rockefeller Mansion one year about 12 years ago, I think. So it demands a large estate to run this show house.
Oh, at least a millionaire's home, at least.
The silk and the linen. This front window here is covered with $9,000 worth of window treatments. So I want you to be sure to notice that.
Imagine you and your family living in this spacious home, enjoying the kind of life you've always dreamed of. Just complete this sentence in 25 words or less. I'd like to win Sweetheart's dream home because...
Price brings up, of course, the price of the house, which is almost $4 million. Also, there are raffle prizes, and it'll only cost you $100 for a ticket.
They hand over $12 each at the door. Thousands of women pour through here during the month-long event, and a good proportion of the money collected does reach the National Symphony Orchestra. But what is the drawing power of the show house? For the hundreds of women who volunteer as hostesses, and for the interior decorators, the house offers an opportunity to mix with the wives of the Washington wealthy who run the event. For the organized groups, it's the freedom to wander through a mansion as if it belongs to close friends.
There are 3 Russian Empire dark green lacquer and gilt trim scroll design armchairs upholstered in hand-painted silk fabric, $12,887 each. So the 3 are $38,660. That's for the 3 chairs.
I think the house is fabulous. I'd like to have it.
Could you live in it?
I could live in it.
How would you feel eating breakfast on chairs worth $12,000?
I'm worth it.
This is the gentleman's room and bath. Has quite a nice homey but masculine look to it. Lots of plaids, lots of horse and dog prints. You'll enjoy the large painting, a man that rides to the hounds and enjoys good brandy and beautiful women. I think that's probably the kind of gentleman that would like this room.
You mean an American or British millionaire?
Well, either will do. I'll take either.
The bed linens are by Bischoff of Switzerland, and Bischoff has been making lace for the royal families of Europe for generations. The grouping on the bed is $4,400. This is a $100,000 room. The furnishings you see in this room would be used by somebody who's very sophisticated, probably very well traveled, having collected antiques or inherited antiques perhaps.
It's $133,200, the carpet. It's a Savonnerie, mid-19th century, and we don't walk on it. If you buy it, you can walk on it.
Who would buy it?
Some crazy person who likes Savonneries.
I mean, you have from love to drug wars, you have charity and hostages, you have recycling and apartheid. It's very unusual.
It's called the thinking mirror. I've had people tell me it was a bad thing to have in a show house because it makes a political statement.
What's the political statement?
That there's more going on in the world than just decorating.
New arrivals encounter the celebrity of the day. Virginia Mars is a member of America's second wealthiest family and one of the 4 owners of the Mars Company, Sweetmakers, worth $8 to $12 billion. She spends time helping the National Symphony Orchestra.
I think one has to decide oneself where
and how you are going to give your charitable dollars. I mean, yes, it's very important that the homeless have something to eat. It's important that we have cultural activities because that adds certainly richness to one's life. It's hard to say which one is more vital than another.
If you can make something of your life, that is wonderful, and then you can afford to have a lovely home like this, which by mistake I can't afford. So I enjoyed coming and spending my Sundays hostessing here. But in America, we have an opportunity to get ahead. There are some people, through no fault of their own, find themselves homeless or find themselves without a job. But this is the land of opportunity, and there's always an opportunity around the corner or down the street or next week.
Does anyone ever voice any discomfort that in Washington, where you see so many homeless people these days, and yet you have these mansions on the outskirts of Washington?
Probably. I would think so. In a free society, you always get something going on. It's just another phase of charitable fundraising. They could picket balls. They could picket us. Thankfully, they haven't done that. No, I think we're doing the right thing.
So I don't see this as lavish decoration.
Would you consider the size of the house lavish?
No. No, it's pretty, for this area, which is outside of Washington, I think it's pretty much in scale with a lot of the houses that are here.
There's always been a certain charm to the story of Robin Hood. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. A Baltimore woman who's being called Robin Hood is just one of several private escrow agents who have built the Department of Housing and Urban Development out of millions of dollars.
This real estate agent, Marilyn Harrell, admits to investigators in legal documents she stole up to $5.5 million over 3 years from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And she says she gave the money to the poor.
She's taken care of the gas and electric and the telephone, and she's provided me with food.
She didn't stash no money away for herself. You never saw her riding around no pink Cadillacs and big underground swimming pools and this, that, and that. She gave, and she gave from her heart all that she could get her fingers on to give.
If I had to do over again what I did, I would have taken twice the amount of money. I really wanted to help people. Having access to that much money gave me the capability to do just what I'd always wanted to do.
Marilyn Harrell is serving 4 years in this women's prison in West Virginia.
What it's taught me was, and the reason that I say that if I had to do all over again, I would have taken twice as much, is because a lot of these women wouldn't be here if they had been able to contact me on the outside. They wouldn't have come here because many of their crimes here are economically motivated.
As a single parent with 6 children, I sold drugs in order to make enough money to support my family. Even though I never used drugs, I used drugs to make enough money to support them.
I'm in here for credit card fraud. I did it out of the convenience of my own home. I didn't believe that I would ever get caught and have to be sent clear across the country to a federal prison for trying to provide for my family.
My husband wasn't making enough money, legal money. You know, our income was not enough. So I resorted to doing something illegal.
And what was that?
I defrauded an insurance company. I knew that it was wrong, but I wanted to get ahead. I wanted to keep up.
He's no smarter than workers in other countries.
Are you kidding?
He's no stronger than workers in other lands.
Oh, yeah?
Joe's the king because he can buy more with his wages than any other worker on the globe.
I wanted to keep up. I wanted to get ahead. In order to be someone, you have to have money. I mean, you have more status if you have money.
Yeah,
that's it.
Doggone, we got caught.
We got caught. That's it. There are millions and millions of people out there who just have not gotten caught, or who have gotten caught, and they know the right people.
For what? What am I guilty of?
Murder.
What were their lives compared to mine? What was she?
A human
A
being.
mean, vicious, hateful old woman who never did anything for anybody. Look what I've done with what she's left me. I've given to charity, built schools, hospitals, given thousands of people work. What was he?
Another human
A thief,
being.
a drunkard, someone who would have died in the gutter anyway. Neither one of them had any right to live.
Must be wonderful to be rich and powerful enough to step on people and be respected for it.
It takes money to make money. If you don't have it to start with, that free enterprise system isn't going to amount to diddly squat.
There's people that come in here from different countries thinking, oh, look at this commercial. Wow, this is a dream. I'll bet I could have that same dream if I work really hard.
My dream was just to own a home and have 2 cars and be able to live like a lower middle class family. But it's not possible anymore.
Monsanto's House of the Future is open to the public. And coincidentally, it's a fairly typical family of 4 that gets first look. A look at the future. Looks good, eh?
I can't conceive what it would be like to have a brand new sweater or a pair of shoes, let alone my children having something new.
Just to be able to give your child lunch money every day so that your child is not one of the children receiving free lunches.
My son is on free lunches also, and 2 weeks ago he was segregated from the whole school because the State Department did not send the proper paperwork over so they knew he was to have free lunches. That hurt.
Right.
To be here and to have him sit there.
To go without. Right. Right. Your family is being punished and penalized also. It's not just us that's going through this.
A key factor in the people that I tried to help, they had given up. They were willing to use drugs. They were willing to lie down on the street. They would do nothing to help themselves until somebody gave them a glimmer of hope. Once the hope was planted and it was, it was nurtured and it built, I watched a magnificent change come over these same people that no one wanted to even be around. And they became beautiful people. They became productive, goal-oriented. They were concerned about themselves, and then they began to be concerned about other people. The government said that I benefited personally by this money. And it's true. I did benefit personally, not in a dollar-wise sense, but in a sense of satisfaction and being able to see people raised up, the quality of their life being elevated. And that, to me, was a great deal of satisfaction. That's all I wanted. Maybe I was greedy. That's what I did.
There's little stealing like you does, and there's big stealing like I does. But little stealing, they get you in jail sooner or later. But a big stealing, they makes you emperor and puts you in the Hall of Fame when you croak.
Everywhere you go, everyone you meet, all they talk about is this depression. They blame it on the war, they blame it on Wall Street, on politics and this administration. For 2 years now we've been assured good times are on the way. I wonder how much longer we must hear them talk this way.
Prosperity is just around the corner.
What we'd like to know is which corner. We've turned so many corners now, we're dizzy.
But still I'm positive we'll soon be busy. Why, I read in Monday's paper where 10,000 men were hired.
Yes, but Tuesday they forgot to say 12,000 more were fired.
What do you do, sir?
Retired.
Retired? Wow. You got an attitude about it, don't you? Yeah. How about you, ma'am? What is your employment history?
I've never been employed.
Ooh, very good, very good. Yeah. You're our winner tonight.
Like the Great Depression's dance marathons, this New York competition gets national attention. Dozens of unemployed people try to make comedy out of their experience, hoping for highly paid showbiz careers.
I'm unemployed, so I'm defined by what I'm not. And that's not a positive way of looking at things. So that's why I prefer to use the term financially challenged. But I really appreciate the time that they've given us to do this and get up in front of a group full of strangers and beg for a job.
Look at me, 25 years old, college graduate, nice Jewish boy from Long Island. I'm the poster boy for the decadent 90s. I'm the perfect example that Reaganomics has failed us. I'll tell you, I think of being unemployed as like a badge of honor. The way veterans are proud of serving in the war. You know, guys in Vietnam who got wounded got a Purple Heart. I survived the recession of '91. I got unemployment stubs every week.
If I ever get my pay again, I'll save it for a rainy day again. But let me tell you, bud, I'm gonna save up for a flood if I ever get my pay again.
In case there's anyone here who works in or around American Express, I would like to publicly apologize for pretending to be a bereaved relative of mine, saying that I had tragically died in a freak decapitation accident and there would be no way I'd be able to pay my bill. So I just want to say I'm sorry for that.
If I ever get a job again, I will never be a snob again. I live within my means, carry $1 in my jeans, if I ever get a job again.
The thing you have to do in the 90s, of course, is networking. Anybody a good networker? That's where you call people on the phone. You got to be aggressive, you know. All day long on the phone. Yeah, Joe, it's me. How are you? I'm looking for a job. Just wondering, anybody at your place die? No. How are you feeling?
You just wash the shell that covers the pea and win all the money. Here's your big chance. Come on, folks, and win a fortune. Here, ya young fella, win all the money. Just look at that money. Find the pea and the money's all yours. A fortune all for you.
Mucho gusto. Es un placer. Bienvenidos. 我要忙，你好吗？你好，我好。忙，谢谢您。谢谢您。Dude is impressing. I used to date one of those.
Sure, I'll come. Hi, Easy. Where would you like me?
Right here.
Okay, guys, you ready?
Thanks a lot.
Real still. Here we go.
Was it
Good.
systematic?
Absolutely. About 15 seconds from there. We'll have a copy for you.
Legalized gambling is growing faster than any other business in North America. The legalized gambling business has become a worldwide industry. But at the World Gaming Congress and Exhibition in Las Vegas, there's no gambling, only gaming.
There has always been a negative connotation to the word gambling, and yes, gaming would be a softening of the word. It's a legitimate word.
Frank Costello, alleged gambling czar, is the target for grilling. Again, he refuses to divulge his wealth. On the subject of his duties as a citizen, Senator Toby has searching questions.
You must have in your mind some things you've done that you can speak of to your credit as an American citizen. If so, what are they?
Paid my tax.
They go for $6,900.
That's not a bad take for a glass box with a little air blower, right?
Sure.
Was that exciting and fulfilling?
How did it feel for you?
Wonderful, grabbing money and having it showered all over me.
So a casino spends $1 million on its carpets as an indication of the kind of profitable business it is.
That's a good indicator, that's right.
Profitable for lots of people like yourselves, too.
A lot of people all down the line, the designers, the architects, the guys running the machinery, the building it, the carpenters, the painters, the carpet designers, the salesmen as myself, all up and down the line. They employ a lot of people.
So you'd say perhaps that like there's a military industrial complex, there's a gambling industrial complex, too?
I guess so, you could say that. That's why you see the bright, vibrant patterns and colors. They want people to have a good time, and in the process, the money changes hands. So that's the nature of it.
I mean, we go in and we look at these wonderful carpets, and then we give them our money without even feeling the loss.
That's right. Yeah, you can be sucked into the losing $150 before you know it, with free drinks, good atmosphere, nice lights.
They create a sense of excitement and energy in the casinos on the floors. They use more than the slot bases usually. All around the slot areas just to create motion and activity. It kind of draws the people in.
So out on the street, it has a psychological effect?
Yeah, subliminal. Yeah, it's kind of like the moth to the flame or to the candle.
It's kind of like what?
Like the moth to the flame.
You feel that gambling is a productive activity?
Absolutely. Gambling also is great for our economy. It increases jobs, it increases revenue. It's a wonderful opportunity.
You've got casinos now operating in Moscow. I think there's 12 new ones in Prague. You've got Hungary opening up. You've got Yugoslavia. There is a worldwide expansion of casinos.
Wild thing, I think I love you. Wild thing. You make my heart sing. Wild thing, you make everything groovy. Beatrice, can I ask you a personal question? Was it as good for you as it was for me? I will never forget you. Give me a big hug and a squeeze.
When I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I thought I was going to make enough money through gambling that I would be a millionaire by the time I was 25 or 30. And of course, by the time I was 30, I lost over $300,000. I was stealing for 17 years at that point to support my gambling habit. By the time I stopped gambling, I owed 32 people 3 years' salary. I remember the times I would run around wishing and praying I had enough guts to kill myself. I thought that my wife surely would be better off without me because I had a $5,000 insurance policy. I just didn't have enough guts.
But the gambling business is intent on seduction. No ordinary salesman, Chuck Matheson is chief executive of the world's largest manufacturer of one-armed bandits. It's made him a multimillionaire.
The guy that won $4.5 million last week, he was really happy. He was up there, he was kissing that machine. He was so happy. It was really something to see. So,
you ever have the opposite side of it, someone crying over the machine?
That probably has happened. I haven't seen it, but it probably does, yeah. In the long run, people really get what they want. In other words, people really get what they want. That's why what happened in Russia, because really, ultimately, people are finally going to be heard and recognized. So what is really good and best for the society as a whole is what's really going to happen.
The board of Mirror Group newspapers announces with deep regret that Robert Maxwell, chairman of Mirror Group Newspapers plc, and Maxwell Communication Corporation is missing at sea.
It was one of the toughest jobs that I'd had to do, but funny enough, halfway through reading this announcement, I don't know why, but the thought came into my mind: this isn't true. Any minute now, he's going to jump out of that taxi and give me all hell for doing this particular exercise.
Kiss the ladies, shake hands with the fellows, and it's open for business like a cheap bordello, and they call it democracy. 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 North, south, east, west, kill the best and buy the rest. It's just spend a buck to make a buck. You don't really give a flying fuck about the people in misery.
Blackwell's of Oxford put the two disputed biographies back on sale today after taking legal advice on Robert Maxwell's threat to sue all bookshops selling them. They were put alongside Mr. Maxwell's official biography by Joe Haynes, the only version that doesn't offend him.
They are one of the few booksellers
who have decided to sell these libelous biographies, if they do so, then they run the risk, as our lawyers have told them, of having to pay heavy damages. The red herring of freedom has nothing to do. Even a rich man has to protect his reputation.
There can be no doubt about that at all, that he took full advantage of the law, which cost a great deal of money, whereas many people couldn't achieve that objective.
As chairman of the Maxwell Group of Companies Pension Funds, I'm addressing you today for the purpose of persuading you that it is in your and your family's best interest to remain a member.
He probably bought up the companies just for the pension funds. I thought that my pension scheme was sacrosanct. One shouldn't really speak evil of the dead, but he was nothing but a crook. I have a grown-up son who is fully dependent on me, so I'm not just thinking of providing for myself, for my basic living expenses. I also have to provide for my son. I can only think of it as malice, a forethought, as one thinks of murder, because basically it's that. Because I'm sure that not only me, a lot of the pensioners who have lost their money, it's probably shortened our lives with the stress we've had to bear. Because I certainly, in December, underwent a lot of stress. We had a miserable Christmas. I spent most of December crying.
The company pension scheme provide good benefits, are financially sound and well run.
I used to believe I was always brought up as long as you had worked hard and honestly, your future would be secure. It's not true.
Here is also a check for $2,946.12, which represents your savings deposited with the company. I'm surprised you haven't saved more in 20 years.
I had a lot more, only it was invested in the preferred stock of the company, and you remember what happened in 1929.
Oh, yes, I remember. Of course, it was just as hard on all of us. You know, the little and the big. We all shared alike, but that's all water under the bridge. Goodbye and good luck. And as a parting thought, I want you to know that this is hurting me much more than it is you, Harold. Much more.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Don't let it get you down.
Thank you.
Well, most certainly the Western world worships at the altar of materialism, and to that end, Mr. Maxwell found himself elevated to that pedestal, and he became like a whirling dervish to go faster and faster and faster.
Was it a compulsion?
Oh yes, I think it was an addiction.
Oh, don't cry, Martha. It's not your fault.
It isn't, is it, Walter?
No. Not mine, nor my father's, nor your aunt's. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way things are. It's what people want and how hard they want it. How hard it is for them to get it.
It feels like I'm still in prison. I'm just out of stage 1. I feel like I'm in stage 2. It's hard to say goodbye to yesterday, and it was hard to say goodbye to those friends, those women that I had bonded with.
So there was some happiness even in that prison?
Yeah, there was. Women that were in the same boat that I was in, or much worse.
Okay. Yeah, have to leave.
A young mother and first-time offender. She's already served 1 year in prison. Louise Robinson is now to spend 6 months in this halfway house. If she can get and keep a job, her sentence may be reduced. But as a black woman and ex-convict, the chances of getting a job, any job, are bleak.
That's all right.
Guess you didn't have to go.
I know we have to.
I wanted to be accepted. I wanted my children to be accepted. And in order to do that, I had to think of a way to get more money. And unfortunately, I thought of a way illegally. I would never do that again, hopefully. And there's always going to be, just like an alcoholic or a drug addict, there's always going to be that little doubt in the back of your head. Bye-bye, pumpkin. I wanted my children to be able to say, I got Nintendo, or I got these Nintendo games, or I got, you know, these clothes, or I got certain toys. It's just a lot of pressure. I have one towel, another pair of pants, with a jumpsuit, like a bottle of perfume, and a pair of shower shoes, with a pair, 2 pairs of pajamas. You start watching TV from ages 2 on up, and you see on television nothing but middle class or upper middle class families. They all seemed happy. They all seemed happy. There was nothing that money couldn't do for them. It brought them happiness, but money is not happiness. I've learned that because, or the love of money is not happiness, I should say.
Boiled? Well, not more than what's healthy, I reckon.
Look here, mister, who does this lovely world belong to, eh? To the people who live on it. You say, well, I'm one of them. I enjoy smoke in a permanent wave and whatever I can get in the way of extras. And why shouldn't I have them?
Because you haven't earned them.
Anyone ever give me the chance?
Don't talk foolish.
Why not? Why not? Oh, gosh, why not? Can't you answer?
There ain't no answer. You're after justice and logic. There ain't no justice and there ain't no logic. The world ain't made that way.
Using wealth to effect social change in the direction of improving the quality of people's lives is the best thing to do with wealth.
He's one of a rare breed, a multi-millionaire who feels that his wealth is a burden. Funding social change activities, Richard Evans has an 8-year plan to divest himself of the bulk of his fortune.
I think that the pursuit of wealth for wealth alone is bound to impair relationships. It's hard to pursue money and consider the impact on people at the same time.
Hello, I'm Dick Evans, and I'm Managing Director of Metier.
By the mid-80s, his computer company was deeply involved in military contracts, and Evans had had enough. He sold Metier to Lockheed, and he received $25 million.
I've been able to say I love you,
right,
and I can't live like this.
A patient of the new Richard Evans, Evans now works as a therapist counsellor. When he abandoned his successful career as an entrepreneur, he undertook years of training for a profession which now means for him a radical change in his view of human relationships.
I deal mostly with clients who actually come from fairly deprived circumstances. They don't have much money to spend on therapy. I see them either free, or else I invite them to make a donation to charity. I work a lot with drug addicts and ex-drug users. The pursuit of wealth can be addictive in the same way that that people are addicted to work, or addicted to alcohol, or addicted to cigarettes, or addicted to heroin. I think that the pursuit of wealth is just another one of those addictions, sadly.
You know, the most prominent thing that's been going on for me over the last few weeks is love. Is an experience, being in the experience, experiencing pleasure, and telling people that I love them, showing people that I love them, all at the same time.
I'm just full of delight that you've achieved it. I think
Thank
it's
you.
lovely to hear that you can have that kind of relationship with the privilege of working as a therapist, as a counsellor. And that's about allowing me into their life, allowing me to share the drama of their life. I find amazingly satisfying. The wealth addiction. It's a long, slow process of discovering what it is you're running from.
What might that be?
Well, at one level or another, it's running away from, usually from very deep emotional pain in childhood. It's, I suppose, put at its simplest, it's like trying to buy love. I think the wealth addict tries to buy love, and the heroin addict tries to inject love.
Wealth addiction creates a valve that opens to let money flow towards the rich and closes to prevent it flowing towards the poor. The point is not whether we are all addicts. The point is, are we for the addiction or against it?
You can buy a bungalow or a seat to any show, buy the rarest flowers that grow, but you can't buy happiness. You can purchase diamond rings, luxury that money brings. You can buy a million things, but you can't buy happiness. With old man moon up above and someone near that you love, you can find a treasure in some little pleasure. It's a story often told. You can buy the world with gold, everything on earth that's sold, but you can't buy happiness.